Sound okay?
Yes.
Hi, everybody online. There's actually more people online, I think, than there are here. Just to give you a visual, thank you all for attending both in person, live, and on the webinar. I'm really excited to be up here, honestly. It's an honor to be able to at least teach what I know through experience and share my stories. By no means am I an expert at all just yet or a master at the skills, but I am somebody who's willing to learn and share what works for me and what doesn't work for me. Before we go on, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alexis Ramboyong. I'm 25 years old, and I want to get a little personal because it is kind of an intimate setting today, and I want you guys to know where I came from, that I wasn't always this. I'm going to show you exactly how I look like most of the time, but I wasn't always like this. I wasn't a very strong person. At one point, I thought I was very introvert, even though my sisters don't think I was. But I was very willing to be, I was always willing to discover who I am. And if you don't know me very well just yet, this is my story. I'm going to pull up 4 pictures, and most of the time, I look like this. Or like this. Like this, or like this. And that's the honest truth. I'm always smiling a lot of the times. I'm a very happy person, and I like to be positive. I like to wake up excited, and if I'm not waking up excited, I look for things to be excited about. So one of my hashtags that I put on my pictures is live inspired. Because if you're not living inspired, you're kind of living in a box, or like you're only seeing things in your lane. You don't have a fresh pair of eyes. You're not looking for the good in things. And that's something that I am very good at. When I look at people, I don't see them where they're at. I see them at their potential. And that feels so good when you see somebody in a light they don't even see themselves. When you look at somebody that way, they're more motivated to do well because, wow, I need to kind of fit Alexis's expectation of myself or have higher expectations of their own self. But like I said, I wasn't always just a happy person. I think growing up, when you're a child, it's more like, what are you driven by? Are you driven by reward and praise, or are you driven by fear and not wanting to fail, right? So for me, it's obvious that I love to have pleasure in my life. And I think when I was a kid, I was definitely an obedient child. I was a really good kid. I don't think I ever ditched. When my friend asked me to ditch, I'd be like, no, can't do that. I don't want my car to get taken away. Seriously. I remember those days, and I was like that because I liked the praise. I liked getting the reward. And I know some people, they might be driven by like, I don't want to fail, so I don't get the consequence. So being that way, I didn't really fail very much. I'm somebody who likes to win. I'm very competitive, and I like being top dog in whatever I do. And if I can get myself to be better, I will do it. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with my half marathon that I just ran.
Nice.
But growing up, I always did well in school and got good grades so that I fit an expectation of my parents. It wasn't really because I want to get good grades so I can get into a good college. It was really just to fit a mold of somebody else's expectation. And I did well in athletics. I played varsity almost my freshman year in all the sports that I played because I wanted to excel and fit in with my brother and my sister because they were really good at athletics. Now, thinking about that, I didn't really do much for myself. So straight out of high school, going into college, I had this crazy identity crisis. I had no idea who I was. I didn't know what college, what major, what career I might want to get into, but I just had all these questions, like, who is Alexis? Unfortunately, my makeup can't do that. When straight out of high school, I was asking myself, who is Alexis? I didn't have the values that I needed to make life feel like it had meaning. And that's a sad feeling, but I know that people are on that journey where they're figuring it out. So when USANA came to me or first presented to me, it was like a breath of fresh air, knowing that I can see, like I do personal development and see who Alexis could become and what my capabilities are. So I definitely thank USANA for that. And I always thank God that he put some amazing people in my life. I have an amazing family, blood and non-blood family. I have amazing friends, female influences that just take me higher. And I'm very fortunate to say that because I know a lot of people can't say that. And it is definitely a blessing, but it also is my handicap because I didn't really have I wasn't a risk adverse person. I just learned through reading books and talking to people and living through other people's experiences. Um, so I didn't grow up with thick skin, or I didn't think that I was going to be this woman of like a woman's woman, like taking charge, putting their foot down. I didn't really expect that of myself. But when USANA came around, I feel very powerful. And I think everybody should feel like that.
Nice.
Now, that's a little bit about myself and my transformation through USANA. But I want to talk about my experience through my half marathon. So a half marathon is 13.1 miles long. A full marathon is 26.2 miles. And I met my friend Jimmy Hedershy. I don't know if he's online, but he's a USANA associate. He is a marathon runner, and he came in with his training marathon schedule. And I looked at it, and it wasn't even for me. I've been running here and there, a couple miles every other day. But when I saw this, I was like, that's a challenge. And I was like, I want to do that. I just decided right then and there. I took a picture with Jimmy. I was like, I'm going to do the next Long Beach Marathon. Now, I don't understand how people could go through marathons or half marathons without training. Because without training, you're probably wearing the wrong shoes. Your toenails will fall off. Your knees, your ankles, your back, everything if you don't train, you don't know what to expect during those 13.1 miles.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's 2 hours roughly of running, right, to one destination from another. And I always hear like my toenails fall off, and I was like, oh, that's really But when you train, or like when I saw this, I trained for 6 weeks. And training means that I ate right for the most part. Of course, I had treat days, but I ran almost every day. I went to the gym almost every other day to push weight, build strength in my legs, build my cardiovascular disease. I ran hills, I sprinted, I did short runs, long runs, any kind of run, I did it because I'm somebody who likes to excel, and I want more, and I like to be on top, and I like to have control. And being a student athlete, ever since I was in third grade up until college, I played volleyball. I always did my best. When people were skipping out on like writing down their reps or their weights, their max and all of that, I was writing them down, and people were like, Alexis, you're like the only person I know who does that. And I was like, well, I want to be good. Like, I want to be great, actually. Mm-hmm. So looking at this 6 weeks, it kind of reminded me of my USANA business. Like I said, it's a long run. I had 2 hours of complete, like, in my head. I had already trained my body, my heart, my legs, my stomach, and all I really needed to do was go. So when it comes to USANA, you need training. If you want to succeed, you need to do well. So, Nico, when you picked up DJing, you invested in certain things, right? You bought speakers, you bought lights, you bought mics, you bought your turntables, you bought all that, right? So you set yourself up for success.
Yes.
Arbo, when you picked up snowboarding as a hobby, you didn't want to rent the boots, bindings, and board anymore, right?
Yeah.
So you got a fly board, you got boots, bindings, snow jacket, some cool pants, because she likes to look good.
GoPro.
She bought a GoPro. So all of those things, we're setting ourselves up for success. And that's what we do when we're coming here to Saturday training. We're going to the Health and Freedoms. So we're setting ourselves up for success. Now, when you start a marathon, you don't run out of the gate. You don't run to start off. You're literally pacing yourself for like 0 miles to 5 miles, if that. And you're doing that because you don't want to burn out. So when you're running a half marathon like I did, you're really just paying attention to your heart rate, monitoring what's going around. Am I running too fast? Am I running too slow? Do I have the right playlist on? Those are all things that happen. But when I was training, I made sure I got the right shoes. I literally got my foot analyzed. I got my shoe analyzed. I got the right headphones. so they're not flimsy while I'm running around. And I hope I'm drawing a parallel to this because there's a lot of symbolism into where my run happened, which is the Long Beach Marathon.
Yes.
So when I did this, when I started running, the first 0 to 5 miles, you're literally just jogging, snail's pace. And you're doing this so that you can build momentum into the next few miles.
Right.
And I saw my USANA business. I've been in this business for 3 years. So that's basically 0 miles to 5 miles. You're literally looking and building your business foundation. You're learning the skills. You're kind of observing your mentor, the people in front of you, and things like that. Now, mile 5, something really cool happened. I saw a hotel called Maya. Is that where you guys are? The Maya?
Mm-hmm.
That's where my sisters had their wedding reception. And then it brought really good memories. And that was mile 5. So to me, I remember I was like, with Abby, I remember her business didn't really start picking up momentum when it was year 5, right? Somewhere around that time, he hit gold. She hit gold, and she kept going. She started bringing people with her, and I thought that was really cool. Like, okay, year 5 is probably going to be good for me as a USANA associate. Now, moving forward, mile 6, 7, and 8, I felt like $1 million. I felt like $1 million, but people next to me were dying. I swear, like, people's shoes had holes in them. Like, people were in pain. Like, literally, I knew they didn't train. So I thought if these people ate well for the last 2 weeks, at least the last 2 weeks, if they ran a little more, if they jogged a little faster, if they pushed their limits a little more, they would be right next to me or even passing me by. And I thought, how come everybody didn't do this? Like, why isn't everybody setting themselves up for success?
Right.
Then mile 9, 10, and 11 came, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm kind of feeling it now. And mind you, I had Rev 3. Rev 3 is amazing. I don't think I would do that well if I didn't have Rev 3 in my body. And I forgot it. The day that I needed Rev 3, I forgot it. But my partner, Julian, shout out to Julian, he had a surge pack on him, and he saved my life. Saved my life. I had a goal of hitting a 2-hour mark for this half marathon, and I beat it. But mile 10, 11, and 12, I listened to my body. I think that these people, in parallel to the marathon, these people would be like the mics, mile 10, 11, and 12. These are mics. So I remember people with no shirt on, no headphones, nice shoes, built bodies. These are the people who are the real athletes who are really going for their goal and are there to win a race. So they have a goal set in mind. They have an itinerary that they're going through. And I was like, man, I'm not there yet, but I'm pretty damn close. Like, I'm running right by you, and I'm like right behind you. And I thought to myself, okay, next time, what am I going to do to improve? This was mile 12. What am I going to do to improve my time, my cardiovascular health? And I was listening to my body, and I was like, the only thing that hurts on my body are my calves. And I thought back, the whole 6 weeks of training, I did not work out my calves. It's funny, huh? Like, you can literally see your deficits from your training or lack of training through your body. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I only have 1 more mile left. Beyonce came on. Let me upgrade you. And I started. I sprinted the last mile, 1.1 miles. And what really helped, honestly, guys, was knowing that there was somebody past the finish line that was waiting for me. I posted a picture of myself on Instagram. I was on mile 9, and I tagged the people that I knew were going to be there. And they were texting me like, keep going, keep going. But also the people on the sidelines that had signs that said, you're all crazy. Just like USANA, people think that we're crazy. And I embraced it. I was like, I'd rather be crazy than overweight, have bad cardiovascular disease, not being able to move my legs. I was very grateful the whole time. I embraced the heat. Everybody said it was hot, and I was just like, not really. Like, it was completely fine the whole time. I'm not saying this to impress you, but I'm saying, like, when you have the right mindset and you're willing and you're going ham, like, there's eyes on the prize, right?
Yes.
So those signs and the supporters on the side are like you people here. Team West that is always so encouraging and there for me, and everybody's always rooting each other on. You're all crazy, by the way. Right. So I had a goal of hitting a 2-hour mark. And my head blew off when I saw this. For my half marathon, out of 4,558 people, I ranked 421st. Out of all the females in this race, I ranked 94 out of 2,430. Out of the girls in my group, I ranked 11 out of 382. And I've only been running maybe like seriously running for a year. That number is sickening. Like, holy crap, I did that? That's crazy. And my average time was about 8 minutes and 45 seconds a mile. And I didn't even think that was crazy until people were like, that's a really good time. Mm-hmm. You did sub 2 hours. So yes, I hit my goal, and that was all because I gained some skill, I gained some knowledge, and then the theme of today is really setting intention. And I think that's what Mike has been talking about lately. It's really setting an intention wherever you go, whether it's to have fun, like you're going out to a bar, I'm going to have fun tonight. Let me just relax. Today, my intention here is to have you see my perspective of how I build my business in prospecting and inviting. And hopefully you can take some of the stuff that worked for me, put your own spin on it, and run with that. Sound good?
Yes. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. So, personal development. Whenever somebody comes up here or when we go to big events, we always talk about personal development. And I feel like that's what USANA is to me. USANA to me, I think I've been successful in my own definition is because I am self-discovering myself. I'm discovering myself. And I'm learning so much about what I'm capable of doing and pushing the threshold of what we think of ourselves. So these are some of my personal development game changers. Challenge to Succeed by Jim Rohn. This is an audio that knocked me out of an orbit that said it was okay to be mediocre. Like, that's not okay anymore. Like, who wants to be average? Like, I think we're all here because we want more.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Now, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson is also another game changer for me. Abby and Arbo talked about this at convention, but this book really showed me that we are never staying the same. You are never, Angie, you're not the same Angie as you were yesterday. David, Oak, we're all different people than we were yesterday. Whether you like it or not, you're different. And you're never staying the same. You're either getting better in some aspect of your life or you're getting worse in some aspect of your life.
Yes.
But one thing is to know that you can change it any day you want. And that's loud. When you know that you can improve, it's like, okay. But one thing, when it's easy to do, it's easy not to do, right?
Yes.
So if you want to get better, do little things consistently every single day. Whether it's run a mile, that's a mile that you didn't run yesterday, right? Read 1 page, 10 pages of a good book, that's 10 pages you didn't read yesterday.
Yes.
And I think when you think, it's all about the mindset. How do you set your philosophy, right? Am I going to do this tomorrow because I can read 20 pages again? That's not it. It's about the consistency, right? And that's what the Slight Edge is all about. And the 4 Agreements. I've been texting Arabelle and Abby about this book, and it blew my heart, it blew my mind, it blew my stomach. Like, I've never been beat up by a book. Don Miguel Ruiz is a very good author. He makes it really simple. The 4 Agreements is basically about personal freedom. And I'm all about inner peace, being at peace, having peace, and just being free. And I'll talk a little bit about the book at the end. Just buy this book, read it, and put it in your personal library because you'll be thankful you did. Okay. Now again, setting the intention, picking your lane. This sounds a little harsh. Picking your lane, like, people say, like, stay in your lane. Right? Well, okay, so we'll say pick your intention. So when you're in USANA, when you do USANA, it's best to kind of label yourself how you want to connect with USANA. So if you're somebody who just wants to maintain good health, who wants to prevent disease, then you're a product user. And mind you, all of these lanes are okay to be in. Okay. And I'm not saying that you can never get out of one lane. You can swerve through your lanes. You could go faster in these lanes. Next, if you want to share the product and help people with their health, no money involved, you're a referral partner. And a referral partner is a great position to be in. Now, a business builder. This is somebody who is on auto order, who wants to make income, who is taking care of their health, and sharing the opportunity and products with other people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, a leader. Leader is all of the above, except they're mentoring other people, building an organization, and things like that. Now, when you're a business builder and leader, you have a different setup. There is money involved, and there are other people involved that you're teaching what to do. So when it comes to these, there are skills that you need to adapt to. And TJ, during basic training, he always says that in anything really, athletics, business, there's really only half a dozen things that you need to know.
Yes.
So when it comes to basketball, I know TJ always talks about basketball. You only need to learn how to dribble, shoot, run, play defense, and maybe one or two other things. That's half a dozen things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, same thing with you, Sana. There's 7 things really: prospecting, inviting, following up, presenting, closing, getting started right, and promoting events. Now, I'm going to talk about the first 2, prospecting and inviting, today. And this is something that I get excited about. Reading this book called Talk Like TED, and you guys, I get all my information from books. Don't think I'm thinking this up. Like, I really am just somebody who likes to read because I learn so much.
Right.
And bless you. I read a lot, and I gain experience and knowledge through books. So please learn to like how to read. Okay. So prospecting and inviting, I get excited about this, but I'm going to talk a little about, it's kind of unconventional, the way that I build my business and prospect and invite. So hopefully you can take something away from that. Okay. So we need to talk about the 4 fish. The 4 fish are the different types of people out there. When you're inviting somebody, you need to know that you're speaking the same language. So you're not going to talk about like making millions of dollars to somebody who just cares about volunteering, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go over them. The shark is somebody who is money motivated, success driven, kind of aggressive, I guess. A dolphin is somebody who likes to have fun, social, they like to be around people, events, parties, so on and so forth. Whales are people who like to give back. They're very caring. They're very supportive. And an urchin is someone who likes numbers, details, facts, and asks a lot of questions. So I think it's important to notify exactly who you are. And I am definitely a dolphin shark. I am aggressive sometimes, and I think I am a dolphin because I like to have a lot of fun. And you're going to see that I do like to have a lot of fun by prospecting. It's very different from how like somebody sits at a Starbucks and can just take names and create contacts that way. We'll talk about that later. But knowing your audience when you're inviting somebody is really important.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is prospecting? Can somebody answer that? Or throw out ideas. You don't have to raise your hand. Just what is prospecting? What is it? What does that mean? Don't all start at once.
Like-minded people. Finding like-minded people.
Gotcha. That's a good one. Anybody else?
Kind of like just exposure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. That's a good one. Okay. So to me, first, prospecting is uncomfortable. If you're thinking prospect, you're thinking it's such a business term. It's almost like a bad word. Sometimes people feel like, oh, I'm prospecting this person. Like there's like a label on them.
Right.
But when you think of it, the actual definition of prospecting is a person regarded as likely to succeed. And how nice does that sound?
Yeah.
You know, like that sounds the opposite of what you might think prospecting is.
Yes.
Right? So when you change the context of the word prospect to connecting, to making a friend, and building your network, when you change it like that, it just feels lighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, this is really what prospecting is to me, making a friend. And not expecting anything in return. You just want to build your network. Maybe somewhere down the line, you can somehow incorporate your lives between each other. All right. So how are we prospecting? I know some people, like I said, they sit at a Starbucks and they can just start talking to people, build a connection that way, add me on Facebook. Right? That's one way to do it. Like I said, my hashtags are YexBizAdventures, Live Well. Live Inspired, Strong Mind, Hard Body. A lot of those, if you look up my Instagram, I'm a pretty balanced person. You can see that I have business on there. I have a lot of fun. I love going to concerts. I love hanging out with my family. And it says live well, earn well. When you're doing the things that you like to do, you're going to be around people who like to the same things you do. You're functioning on the same frequency. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, like I said, I've been traveling a little bit the last 3 years that I was in USANA. I went to Colombia, Mexico twice. I'm going, it's just kind of all a blur right now. I went to Cancun, and I put it on social media. I use Snapchat lately because people have like attention spans of why. So Snapchat just gives you like you take a snap and people see what you're doing and they're like kind of leaves like crap, they kind of have to remember at that point, right? So for the last couple of years, this guy has been following me and he says, seems like you've been on vacation for months. I hope all is well. And that makes me feel good because to me, I'm living well and I'm earning well. And I'm living in abundance. And I think that's what people want, right? Or they don't know it yet. But because you're being a good example and living well, they're like, man, how is Alexis doing that? So I prospect through lifestyle. And I think that's really, really loud.
Yes.
Let's see what else. Like I said, I like to go to concerts. And this is me, family, and friends. We went to a Disclosure concert. And I love, like, it's a good place to be around. So when you do things that you like to do, you kind of meet people like this. Sorry, Abby. But you meet people, and did you get her contact?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that she got her contact, but I just wanted to make a point that you're meeting people that are vibing on the same frequency you are. There's obviously a point where they met and they made some sort of connection. I'm sure Abby complimented her, and I'm sure she got the contact. Facebook, phone number, what was it?
Facebook.
Right? And Facebook is already an invite. And building your brand, building David, your own brand, building Arabelle, building Joanne, you guys all have personal power at the fingertips. And I love this because I know that Abby is not trying anything. She's just literally connecting with somebody. That's all prospecting is.
And I'm sure they're drinking Rev 3.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay, so like I said, not everybody is all about just having fun. There's people out there who want to help people. So I posted a picture of Children's Hunger Fund and us doing our thing, and I said, so me and some friends did this morning. Children's Hunger Fund is an organization that feeds hungry children across America and the world. Today we help food packs that would be sent to Guatemala, helping 4,000 hungry children. Imagine what a 2-hour span of your time with friends and family can do for the world. I'm blown away and hope my team can collaborate on these kinds of things once a month at least. Comment or direct message me if you'd like to join next week. So there's a call to action. Now, this kind of blew my mind. This person right here, Desiree DeLeon. Every time I ask her to come to Health and Freedom, she doesn't reply. Every time I ask her to do the reset, she doesn't reply. But once I posted something about not me needing her to do something, she wanted to volunteer. She hit me up and she's like, let me know the next time you go. You bring out people and you connect with them on different levels. And it's pretty crazy. Because this person I never thought would be open to just like hanging out and just hanging out with me.
Crazy.
So I think prospecting, it's best when you are who you are. Kind of this could be bad, but sorry. Stop doing things you hate. Because when you're doing things you hate, you're obviously you're putting out something that you probably don't even feel, but other people feel. They know you don't want to be there. There's just this energy, and I'm all about energy. So here's some action steps. Pick up a new hobby. Arabelle, I know recently, maybe for the past couple months, picked up boxing, and in that activity alone, she found Caesar. Caesar is kicking butt in his business. He's growing his business in multiple countries, and if she never picked up boxing, she wouldn't have ever met Caesar. Through Caesar, she met, how old's Kane?
21.
She met a 20-year-old. What?
He was 20 at first.
She met a 20-year-old who was also in the ring with her, just loving to box, and now he's kicking butt in his business. So if he didn't meet boxing, she wouldn't have met Caesar and she wouldn't have met Kane. And they're both kicking butt in her business. Now, join a new gym, take a free class, go on Groupon. All of these things are really easy to do. Take a class, and maybe you want to learn a different language. Next semester, I really plan to take a Spanish class at Mount Sac, so if you guys want to join, we can prospect together.
Awesome.
But taking a class, and these things, go outside. Mike asked, how do we prospect? I say, I go outside. I literally make a friend almost every time I go. I add somebody on Facebook at least once a day, and that's because I'm swinging the bat every single day.
Yes.
I'm literally talking to somebody every single day, and not with the intention to bring them to a health and freedom, just because I love people. Now, this stems back from the book, like I said, Talk Like Ted, and it asks 3 questions. If you're not inspired, how are you supposed to inspire other people?
Mm-hmm.
And the book asked, what do you do for work? Second, what are you passionate about? And then third, what makes your heart sing? So I wish I see this here. I wanted to hear your answers. But if I'm going to answer those, what do you do for work? I work at the Cheesecake Factory and I serve. I also work as a health consultant for a health and wellness company. That's what I do. Second is, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about people. Honestly, I really love hearing people's stories just because I know that it's adding value to me. Whether it's a bad story, a good story, I'm just always collecting these stories and piecing myself together. So people need people. We need connections. We need each other.
Right.
And third is, what makes your heart pitter-patter or sing? To me, it's seeing people transform, whether it's from their weight, some shift in their mentality, knowing that there's more out there, knowing that they don't have to be in the situation that they have to be in. Just the light bulb that goes off, I'm just that's what I was waiting for. That's the feel-good moment. And I know Abby feels the same way. So what are you passionate about? Share it with others. Get involved in your passion. And even if you don't know, figure it out. Do a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing can happen, you can learn a new language. You can become a better Nico. You can become a better Joanne. You can become a better Medell. All of these things. Right. There's nothing bad coming out of this. So maybe you might get a tan or something. But like I said, it is prospecting is like swinging the bat. And the more you swing the bat, the easier it is. It becomes second nature. It becomes clockwork. So if you do me a favor, from now on, smile a lot more. I've gotten so many prospects by just smiling and just saying, hi, how are you doing? Hi, how's it going? And it's just funny because you never know where that's going to go. Because if you didn't smile, you probably wouldn't get the energy. So I think that's really important. Compliment, connect, and contact. So I want to get a little uncomfortable here. Can you guys turn to somebody that you don't know? Or get up and turn to somebody that you don't know? Or know very well.
Hi.
Yes. You want to get her down? Just kidding, I'm kidding. Somebody.
I don't know you. How are you?
Good. How are you? Yeah, we're down the line already. Still kind of learning.
All right, so that really wasn't just the exercise. Wait, that wasn't the exercise.
That's good. I'm glad. Oh my god.
All right, so the exercise here is one person be the person who smiles. Pick the person. And the other person is not gonna smile. You have to smile. Okay, you don't smile. Okay, so look at them for the next 30 seconds.
Oh, that's hard.
And smile. Look directly into the. Hey, you can do it. Hey, can you?
Okay, take it to the room. That's not allowed here right now. Pick someone else. Bye. You too. My partner.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, like I said, you gotta get uncomfortable a little bit, because to get uncomfortable, the more you do something, the more the muscle builds, the more buff you get at that skill.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look deep into each other's eyes. You're gonna, and one person is gonna smile, and the other person is just gonna try and not smile. Okay? So for the next 30 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
She lost 30.
You're like,
Yeah.
what was that? Like 3 seconds?
All right, guys. All right. Thank you. You know?
Yeah, that's why I look like that. Yeah.
All right. So since we all kind of know each other, it wasn't that awkward. But I've learned that the more that you pay attention to somebody, you kind of like, whoa, this is a little weird, right? Or like if you say hi, how you doing, and you're not used to saying hi, how you doing, you kind of feel like, well, this is kind of not the normal Alexis. You kind of feel out of place. You're not in the same shoes. So when it comes to prospecting, get used to looking at people in the eyes and smiling. And honestly, you'll see how far that can take you. Thank you for participating. Okay. So I'm reading this book called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. And when you're building a team and you're prospecting to build your team, because that is what prospecting is like you're trying to add value to your own business, you want to ask yourself, what kind of culture do I want my team to have? This is a really important question to ask yourself. As an entrepreneur, you want to make life easy, not harder. You don't want to work with people that you don't want to work with, right? That's what entrepreneurship is. You have complete control. So I want to use Disneyland as an example. With Disneyland, it's the happiest place on earth, right? Why on earth would Disneyland hire somebody who's not happy, friendly, and happy-go-lucky, right? That doesn't make sense. So in your business, if you want somebody who is hardworking, if you want a hardworking culture, you need to find people who are hardworking. It's hard to train somebody to be hardworking. It's possible, but it's harder, and you want to make your business easier. Now, this is an excerpt out of the book. The culture of an organization evolves around the people who make up the company. The culture is the personality and character expression of the people in it. The only way to shape that culture is to focus on hiring people with the attributes you want your culture to have. To have a high-performance culture, you need to hire. How do you want your business to be? Look for those kind of people. I met Angie through the Cheesecake Factory, and I'm not somebody who's just going to invite somebody just because they're fresh meat. You know, it's like you're the interviewer. You're the one asking the questions. Is this person somebody that I want to reflect my business? Is this somebody that is worth building a business with? So when I met Angie, all smiles all day. She's kind of like me. Like we're kind of happy a lot of the time. And she seems like very hardworking. She seems really intelligent. We went to lunch with a couple of people, and she stood out to me. So I hit up Angie and I said, "Would you like to see what I do?" And she said, "Yeah." So I think when you're vibing on the same frequency, it's easier to invite somebody.
Nice.
So I at the Cheesecake Factory, I meet a lot of people. It's really great. And I like serving people because I like making people feel comfortable. I like changing their day. I like being able to just to be a difference maker in their day and really just courting somebody for that hour and a half of their meal. And I met this family that had this like outrageous energy, and I was like, they asked me for my number. And I was like, I would definitely, it was like a family. It was like 5 of them. And I was like, yeah, of course. And we just had a really good conversation. I didn't have many other tables. And I ended up texting her. I was like, it was really nice meeting you. Like, you really made my day. I love the energy, and your son is so cute. And she's like, I really love your energy. That's why I wanted to ask you if we could hang out. Like, I want to be around good people. And I got to know her through text, and her and her husband are pastors of a church. They've been growing 3 churches for the last 10 years. And now she's asking me to go to makeup tutorials. And they're free. And just making a connection with somebody, you never know what you're going to get out of it. And you even shouldn't be thinking, what am I going to get out of this? It's just building a connection and giving 100% yourself and expecting 0 in return.
Yes.
Like-minded people.
What was that?
Like-minded people.
Yes. So we're going to go to a makeup tutorial, so I'll invite you guys.
Awesome.
All right. So when you're prospecting, make sure you have a list. I guess this is the logistics part. I don't really talk a lot about this. But hot market is family, close friends, co-workers, and people on that level. Warm market is acquaintances maybe that you've met once or twice, somebody you see once a month, things like that. And cold market. Cold market are people, strangers that come into your life and you gain contact with. I think cold market is kind of my thing right now. But contact list, write it down. When you are physically writing it down, you're making it more comprehensive. Because when you think, Oak, he runs a restaurant. I know he knows other people in that restaurant. Like, you get to see everybody else's network. And when you write it down, you're kind of seeing bubbles everywhere. Like, okay, I know where that is. I know that person. He knows that person.
Great.
Things like that. Never take anyone off the list. Everyone is on the list. Because we are non-judgmental. We don't judge if somebody needs USANA or not. Your job is really to sort, not convince. That's what it is. You're not saying USANA is the best, you have to do USANA. You have to sort for people who are actually looking for something. And you only find that when you're asking questions. So asking questions is probably what Arabelle is really good at. She asks questions all day long. She makes them talk. She hardly ever talks. She's a good listener. So when you're prospecting, find a creative way to stay in touch with your conversation. All right. Prospecting mindset, I'm almost done. Okay, prospecting mindset. Finding the hot button. So this is a cold market. He was the cocktail waiter at BJ's. His name's Steven. I said, thanks for the birthday greeting, Steven. How's it going? Of course, it's going well. Looking for new jobs at the moment. Trying to go back in hotels. How are you? Like, it's just word vomit. I only asked, how are you? And he's already saying, I'm looking for a new job.
Right.
All right. Making this easy for me. I'm doing great. I'm glad you're pursuing what you really want to do. Gotta love the hospitality industry because I'm in it as well. We're making a connection. I am. I love it. But I really want to get out of the restaurant business and go back to what I'm actually studying. I see you making moves on Instagram. That's amazing. Again, social network, it's already inviting for you. I feel you. So many people in the restaurant industry get stuck and forget that there's more to life than that instant gratification. Thanks for noticing. I've got some goals, ready to make some changes. You're absolutely right. So much more to explore, but inside the 4 walls of a part-time job. So this sounds like a pretty good prospect, right? He's open-minded. He's looking for a new job. And he's excited to see what happens between and after 25 years of age. What are some of your goals? I know that's kind of deep, but I kind of just read through what he was telling me, and he seemed like a deep guy. So long term, 5 years from now. I'd be 29 years old, so if I had to think about it, I would want to be graduated with a family, owning or running my own hotel, being able to make trips with my family, staying fit, doing some kind of charity work, just making a name for myself in the world. Doesn't have to be big, but something, you know. Like, this guy is like, you and your son? Are you prospecting me? But I'm only asking these simple questions, and he's kind of just like, I'm sure nobody really asked him this.
Right.
You know, if you wouldn't type out a paragraph to somebody you've met only one time. I've only met this guy one time. I know exactly what you mean, nothing big, just being fulfilled, leaving some kind of mark. We're on the same boat, my friend. Love your vision, where would you want to travel to? And we get into talking about what we like to do for fun, some of the goals, where we want to visit. And I never even asked him in this whole conversation, I didn't talk about USANA. I didn't even invite him to a health and freedom. I just wanted to get to know this guy. And then 2 weeks later, I invited him. We sat down for a one-on-one. We bought Pure Rest and Rev 3, and that's
Awesome.
it. This is cold market. And this is asking, hey, how you doing? And that's it. So really, guys, be yourself, and be interested in being interested rather than interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Now inviting. This is really hard for me. Inviting, I couldn't really make slides for this because there isn't just one way to invite somebody to your opportunity. There's tons of ways. But inviting is the gateway skill to your business. Because if you're a business builder or a leader, if you're not showing the opportunity to somebody, your business is really non-existent.
Yes.
And that's unfortunate, but that's the truth. If you're not taking action and talking to people and you're not excited about what you're doing, what are you doing? You're just a product user or a referral partner. So again, staying in your lane and knowing what curricular you need to excel in that lane. Okay, now the inviting mindset. Are we still doing okay?
Yes.
I'm talking a lot. Okay, the inviting mindset. The theme. What is your intention? And I think Mike talked about this with Oak and Joy. Is it to show them an option, or is it to show them what you're doing and you want to sign them up right away? When I train my team, I never really train them how to invite, at least for the first couple of weeks, because when you're inviting somebody, it's all energy. It's a transfer of emotion, right? So if I tell somebody, say it like this and say it like this, their energy it's not their energy anymore.
Yes.
They're not giving it to that person. It's your energy, and it's not honest. It's scripted, right? Especially in the beginning, you want to be excited. You want to be like, I'm starting on this new thing, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I want to tell you about it. That is a better invite than, you know what, there's this thing that I'm going to. It's on a Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock. It's at an office that I'm part of. Like, when you're saying too much and there's not a lot of excitement, where's the energy?
Yeah.
It's like a dying flame when you're taking somebody else's words out of your mouth. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about, it's not scripts. I thought I'd be able to do that. Like, I thought I'd be able to say, like, this is for a student and this is for a 50-year-old guy. Like, I thought I would be able to do that, but like writing it all down, it doesn't work like that. It's their needs versus what you're trying to give them. So their needs versus our needs. Our needs and our agenda, you must prostitute. They don't exist anymore. You need to feel empathy for the other person and what they need. Because are you showing them because you want them to help live a better life through better health? Do you want them to live diabetes free so they can run and walk and have all their limbs and really experience life? Well, live well, earn well? Or are you trying to get your CVP up and sign up a pro pack? Right? I mean, that's cool too, but that's not honest. And the integrity of your business would kind of be shot. Now, show options, or are you thinking pro pack? I mean, a lot of the times we are thinking like, man, we're thinking the best for them because we know the pro pack has everything they need. In the long run, they'll thank us, but you can't make them see that far. You have to inch towards them and be like, you have to listen to what they really need. All right, the do's and don'ts of inviting. The do's, and I wrote this, I think my first year in USANA, and I was training a team out in Kansas City, and it's really simple. What you do want to do is make a connection and make sure you're planting seeds. And planting seeds by cultivating relationships, taking somebody out to lunch, having coffee. It sounds really simple and it might not be your favorite thing to do, but this I feel is what's going to help you win your business. Edify others. Stop talking about yourself. When somebody asks me, like, you've been doing this business for 3 years now, like, how are you doing? I say straight up, I'm still in training and I'm learning from my sister who's making sufficient amount of money, and I'm learning from them for free. And I'd love to share it with you, rather than, you know what, I'm making just enough to pay my bills, and like something like that. That doesn't sound as good as, you know what, I'm learning, and I'm on my way to hitting this certain rank where I'm going to be making $1,000, following what my sister makes, things like that. Be sincere and create trust. And creating trust means you have to be honest. Don'ts. Don't invite under pressure. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. I don't like this one. Okay, inviting under pressure. This means that it's Wednesday morning and you're looking through your list. You're like, who haven't I invited yet? Who haven't I invited yet? And you're saying like, hey, are you free tonight? And they'll be like, yeah, are we gonna go to happy hour or something? Then you just say yes, and then you lie.
Right.
And then you kidnap them. Nobody likes a kidnapper, guys. You can just feel the energy when somebody comes and they don't know what to expect. They just like got sidelined by somebody like a football player. It's don't do these things. Invite under pressure. Don't talk too much and say what the opportunity is over the phone or through text. And be honest. No kidnapping. All right. Here are the basics. And I guess they're kind of hard. This one especially. We must emotionally detach ourselves from the outcome. And in the beginning, this was really, really hard for me. When you're passionate and enthusiastic about something and somebody says no, it's like, oh, why? Like, you feel a certain way, like, this is such a gift that I'm giving you. I don't understand why you don't see what I see. But when you emotionally detach yourself from the outcome and your goal is to educate and have them understand the product and understand the opportunity, then it becomes fun. You're a consultant, not a salesperson. So when you're consulting somebody, you're not really trying to get anything from them, right? You're just answering their questions, and you're almost like a psychiatrist or a psychologist, really just helping them wrap their head around what they're getting themselves into. But this was really hard for me in the beginning. I did one of my very first presentations on my dearest friend. Her name's Alice. Did a whole presentation for me, and I was like, hey, she's going to do this. She's going to see it. She's entrepreneurial. She looks good. She loves people. And I was just so attached. My claws were on her. I was like, good job. She's going to do this. And after I did the A, B, or C, she's like, I'll try the vitamins. She's like, I can definitely see you doing well in this business. So I was like, for real? But I already had my mindset that she was going to do this with me just because she loves me, she's my best friend, and she wants to support me. Those are the harshest ones. Those are the ones that you bleed a little longer, right? But emotionally detach yourself. And again, we're looking for the people who are looking for more, who want to get healthy and want to make more income, right? So focus on education and understanding. Be yourself and a bolder self. Business starts with the letters B and U. It's funny, I just came up with that.
Yes.
But it starts with B, U. And I remember inviting my friend, my very best friend, and right when I like picked up the phone, I had this different tone in my voice, and she's like, "Why are you talking like that?" I remember that day, and I was just like, "Get out of your head, self-destructive." I really didn't know what to do because I was just like, "Would you potentially be interested in meeting with me?" And this is somebody that I see every day. I needed to be myself. The business is being yourself, and I learned that the hard way. And my ego was like, oh, "You really need to learn how to learn how to not be a business person," which is kind of funny. A bolder self. Inviting can be really easy when you're doing personal development and you're changing along the way. So when you're a bolder self and you come into contact with somebody that you haven't seen in maybe months, years, and you're a different person, you're already throwing out an invite. Like, wow, Alexis has really changed, or Angie has really changed. She wasn't like this before. And that's, I think, what's really loud. What you say is not important. It's what you do and who you are that speak the loudest. So work on yourself, and that's the basic. Be in a hurry, set some urgency. Now, I'm going to use dating as an example. When you ask somebody out and you say, what day are you available? Oh, any day is good. I'd love to see you. Right? It's kind of like, you're too available. Right? It's kind of a game. It definitely is. There's a lot of psychology behind somebody who has a schedule, who has stuff to do. If I can pencil you in, that makes you important. That you're giving value. Time given to another is time taken from somebody else. So I think about that a lot. Like, am I adding value to this person, or how am I going to add value to this person? So when you set some urgency, you're kind of like, you're very important to me. So let's get something started here. Okay. Be passionate and enthusiastic. Again, that's very self-explanatory. If you're not excited about USANA, find something to get excited about. It doesn't have to necessarily be USANA. Like me, it became running. But then people started asking me, like, what are you training for? And because I was sharing my passion with others, they wanted to hang out with me. People who have never ran before, like, man, that looks really cool. I want to run a marathon. So I met somebody at Snail's Pace running store in Monrovia, and he fit my shoes, and he did the whole like foot analysis, and he was very passionate about running. He runs for APU. He's a cross country athlete there, and he had an APU jersey on and everything, and he's like, you should really come out to our run clubs. And I was like, heck yeah. And not because I was like thinking I'm going to build my network, but it's because I like running, you know, and because I like running, I want to be around people who like running as well. And I hope you guys all take up running after this, because it feels so good to run. It does.
Really?
It feels good. After the 4 mile mark, you feel really good. And that sounds like a lot, but it's training, right? But I want everybody to feel the way I feel after a half marathon, because you just feel like, oh man, did it, just do it. Have a strong posture. This one was really tough when Arbo told me, stop smiling so much. Arbo told me, like, when we're at a business meeting, it's business, right? I'm somebody who's always like, and that's hard to take seriously. You can still be yourself, but again, a bolder, stronger self, right? And having posture means that you're a serious business person. You're not somebody to mess with. You've got your stuff together, right? And smiling is great, but tone it down. We have 50%. And keep it simple. You don't, like, TJ always says, invite me to a party. And one time I said, I'm gonna have bottle service, I'm gonna have a DJ, I'm gonna have a dance floor, there's gonna be lights. And he's like, that's not how you invite to a party, right? When you invite somebody to a party, it's like, what are you doing Saturday night? Bring a bottle. Or what are you doing Saturday night? Let's go to a concert, right? It's 1 or 2 questions. Are you available? Are you not? If you are, do you want to do this? If not, cool, right? Keep it simple. Stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS principle. And I've learned that's been the best way. When it comes to inviting, I already know in the end that my purpose of that conversation is to invite somebody. To cut it short, I ask, hey, are you free this day? Are you free at this time? I'm working on this project. Would you be interested in hearing more? I see your Facebook. Looks like you're into your health. Do you have any health goals you'd like to hit? Asking questions is the best way to get an invite going, because they're answering and closing themselves. All right. So this is the Eric Worre invite. This is like the professional way to do it. This is what he calls the professional 8-step invite. 1, be in a hurry. 2, compliment the prospect. Make the invitation. If I would you, make the time commitment, confirm the time commitment, confirm again, get off the phone. So this is something that I've shortened a lot, because the people that I talk to, we don't talk like this. Like, I'm going to confirm with you, and are you sure this is the time? And then, really, is this the time that we're going to, like, it's hard to do it to the T. So Abby gave me a good example that the whole, like, smart meal replacement shakes, there's a base, right? And then you choose the flavor that you want to put in it, and if you want to add extra protein, whey, soy, things like that. This is like the base. It's like the base powder. And put who you are, put the kiwis, put the bananas into your shake and make it your own. And then just add your own spin on it. So this is where you want to start. All right. Whew, this is a good one. Understand that everyone has, an advantage. Everybody has an advantage, whether you're a new associate, 1 day old, whether you're seasoned, you've got 2 years under your belt, or you're a veteran in USANA. As a beginner, I loved using the favor card. Can you do me a favor? You've always been somebody who supported me. Can you come to this event that my organization is having? If you pull out the support card, that is somebody you already know that they're going to say yes. This is for the whales. Right? The whales are the ones who, of course, if you need me there, I'll be there. Right? That is, I still use that. Again, there's different ways that you can invite people. The second way is practice. I couldn't get anybody to a health and freedom event my first year. I never brought a guest, and I knew that I had to make a change because, like, if I'm not getting anybody to see my opportunity, my business isn't moving. So I decided I need to learn how to present. So I did my first presentation with a newspaper, and it took 2 hours long. When you're using a newspaper, it should be shorter than when you're doing a presentation with a PowerPoint. It was my first presentation, but how I got him to get in front of me is like, I see that you're a business person, and I'm running my own business. I need a favor. Can I practice my pitch on you? And he said, sure. When you put people on a pedestal like that, they think, man, she values me. I'm going to add value to her life. So I'm grateful for always pushing myself to present, because all of those people, they still ask myself, like, how is USANA doing? And they're obviously watching me. They're obviously watching me, like that guy who said, it looks like you're always on vacation for the past couple months. That's another one. And the friend card. You're my friend. You'll do me a favor, right? Okay. Like I said, it was really hard for me to make these slides because I invite in an unconventional way. I kind of go as it is, and it's very unscripted. But for indirect approach, this is something very, very simple. Keep it simple, right? Morning, Jesus. Young Rambo, they call me that at work. Good morning. I'm running out the door. I'm in a hurry, right? But I was wondering if you were free for a bit later. You're pre-qualifying. I have a presentation coming up and I need some practice. Would I be able to practice on you? Interesting. I'd love to help. Around what time? Around 4. That's when I get off. I met up with him and that was that. And nothing came out of it. He really helped me. He did his job, but I set the intention that way because I was really looking for somebody to practice on. But of course, there's always an underlying, maybe this person wants to do it. Just exposing. Okay, here's another one. This is my cold market. The prior one, the one before this was warm market.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Hi, Sergio. This is actually a kid from the health bar I met a couple months ago at the beginning of the year. Hi, Sergio. It's Alexis. We met earlier at the health bar. Oh, yeah, what's up? So I'm working on a business project. Are you free to meet tomorrow? This is a shark in me. Straight to it. Straight to it. Right? I don't want the conversation to drag along because this is cold market and I already got to know him. I pre-qualified him. He was a business major. He was looking to start up his own business. So, of course, I'm getting straight to business. I work till 5 tomorrow, so I'm free after that. Okay, business attire at my office, 7:45. So one right above Starbucks, bring a pen, we'll take material, I'll answer all questions tomorrow. So keep it simple, right? Cold market. All right. So direct approach. This should be used on people you know who are searching for more. You know their dissatisfaction, need, or desire. So let's say somebody isn't making enough money and they're looking for new career opportunities and they voice this out to you. Direct, remember, they're already telling you they're dissatisfied with something in their life. So were you serious about looking into a new career? If they say yes, are you open? Are you open is key. Because if they're not open, then there's no use to convince. You're not convincing, you're sorting to see if this person is ready to look at your opportunity, right? And I need you to know that you have gold in your hands. Literally, you have a present that you're giving people, and if they don't want it, don't give it to them. They don't deserve it just yet. You don't respond to need, you respond to deserve. Right? So this is for a mother. Were you serious about looking for part-time work to spend more time with your kids? Are you open to knowing more about this opportunity? Are you open? Again, those are our keywords. Other strategies. This is the if I would you strategy. If I sent you a 10-minute video, would you watch it? If I would you. If they say yes, make sure you're confirming with it. Because you don't want to give them this gift and then never talk about it afterwards. If they don't have time to see it, I'll get back to you. Let me know when you can watch it, and I'll send you the link then. Again, you're adding value to somebody, and if they don't want the value, don't give it to them, right? If I invited you to a special invitation only event, would you attend? If I sent you a link to a presentation, would you check it out? If I would you all the time. So this is a strategy of reciprocation. You're not giving somebody something if they're not going to take it, right? So you're putting something on the table, showing them an option, and if they're willing and open to seeing it, then you give the invitation, the real invitation. This gives you a position of power. So you're not like just, I'm giving this to everybody, right? This is something that's very, intimate. This is something that could really change somebody's life. And when you're thinking of it in ways like that, you want to protect what you have. Right? Not everybody deserves it. This is a value exchange. And again, it's all about education and understanding.
Right.
All right. So I know I still have some time, but in conclusion, I read the book, The Four Agreements, and it's right here. Has anybody ever read it? Anybody?
Yes.
Yeah. Did it blow your mind? The Four Agreements, I'm going to go over just a little bit of it. The Four Agreements, be impeccable with your word. And being impeccable with your word, I want people to understand how much power they have. If you tell somebody that they're ugly, if they don't have the strength or they don't have the empowerment behind it, they're going to believe you. So you just created some dark magic in themselves, right? But if you're impeccable with your word, people just believe you. So if you tell somebody they're beautiful, or you give somebody a compliment, you're shining light on them. You're empowering them. So please understand how much power you have. Because if you tell your child to shut up, you have an ugly voice, she might never ever sing again, right? Don't take anything personally. That was hard. This was a really hard one for me. Don't take anything personally. When you take something personally, you're being selfish. And I'm going to read a little bit about that part. Personal importance, or taking things personally, is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about me. Nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. So what that means to me is that you never know what somebody's really going through. And you got to ask questions to yourself. You might not need to ask them, like, what's going through your mind. But you have to understand that they're probably going through something that made them believe that they're in this terrible situation.
Right.
Right? So this was really hard. Like, I thought about, like, past relationships when I thought about this. I thought about, like, my parents. Like, this book really beat the crap out of me. It's true. It's simple and it's true. Don't make assumptions. Have the courage to ask somebody what they're going through. I don't really have anything on that, but don't make assumptions because you're already believing your own belief system. When you're making an assumption, you're deterring from other people's beliefs. Yeah. So I know this is really deep, and hopefully I'm kind of making sense here, but the Four Agreements just blew my mind. Now this is the best one. Always do your best. And it sounds so simple, right? It sounds very simple. But when you do your best, you're a different person. and you're helping so many people for no reason, just because you want to do your best. Yesterday was a really good example. I read this book 2 days ago, and it's really hard to practice these things if it's not on your mind. So a lot of the last couple of days, I'm like, am I being impeccable with my word? Am I making an assumption? Things like that. But this is a muscle that I'm really trying to contract because I know it's going to help me with my business. But it was my mom's like reunion yesterday, and she had all her friends coming over, and the Alexis 3 years ago would have like took the trash out and then went in her room and then went on Facebook and things like that. But I was asking myself, am I doing my best in this situation? And I could honestly say that I did better than what I did 3 years ago. Maybe not 100% my best, but you know my mom, she's always telling you to do something. She's always telling you to do something. And exactly. So she had the party, and I literally stayed in the kitchen most of the time to help Arabelle cook. And I never do that. Never do that, because I just think Arabelle's got it. You know, she normally does this stuff and she likes doing it. But I made sure that I washed the dishes for my mom, and even though she was nagging at me, I was like, Alexis, do your best. Do your best. Really, like, it was really hard. But at the end of the day, I felt really good. And she even said, Alexis, thank you for staying the whole time. Mm-hmm. And that's when I knew I did my best for you, Mom. And I felt guilt-free. I didn't feel shame. Like, I could have left and went to Starbucks and practiced this presentation, which I thought about. Mm-hmm. I thought about it because I stayed up until 4 o'clock to do this. And even though it might not be the best presentation, I did my best. Nice. Right? I did my best. And I think that's what I want to conclude on is just always do your best and pick up this book and really let it lighten your mind. Thank you.